everybody! Today I'm bringing you these photos of the cupcakes from my nephew's wedding, and they were delicious. The two people in the photo there are my sister-in-law and my, at the time, nephew's girlfriend. In 2 weeks she will be his wife, but they made all the cupcakes. So I'll talk about that in a little bit. But I have here, what I did is I did this layout for a National Scrapbook Day multi-photo challenge on the Victoria Marie Facebook group. And then I also did it for the weekly challenge on Shamel Lane's website or blog to scrapbook 3 photos, and one of them had to be a 4x6 for sure. So that first paper that I grabbed there and that I'm using to mount the photos on is a polka dot paper from Bella Boulevard. It's from Sweet Baby Girl, and it's called Sweet Safari. And then that paper right there that I'm going to be mounting as soon as I get my ATG tape to work properly. It broke on me. That polka dot, or not the polka dot paper, but the floral paper is from Elle Studio Little Moments, and the name of the paper is Bloom. And then I also found a piece of cardstock to use as a frame to that Bloom paper. I find when you have an all over print like that, that if you don't use some sort of frame on it, it just looks like it's falling, the layout's falling off the background. So that's what I'm looking at there and what I'm going to do. So I did think about possibly cutting that purple polka dot paper down a little bit, but I actually like the way that it overlaps the edges of the floral paper and goes onto the frame itself. I think that's pretty nice. And this is something cool. It's the, it's purple, which we don't see very much of that, but Little Moments does have some purple in the collection. I just was showing you the basket that I store my letter stickers in, and because I wanted to figure out, I know I want to put a title on there called Cupcake Bakers, because they were the bakers of the cupcakes. So I went to find my white glitter letters. I knew I had quite a few different kinds, and I knew I had a smaller font because I used them earlier this week. That font is from Dear Lizzie. It's called Soiree, and the color is white. So it was pretty easy. So the reason I wanted to do this is I wanted to make sure that I left enough room for the title in that bottom quadrant as I'm working with these photos. So one of the things that I am being a little bit fussy about is I am making sure that those 2 photos right there, that one and the white one below it, are going to justify to the same place on the left side there. And that just helps your eye organize the photos a little bit more. So all of these photos really started out as, well, actually the 2 photos of the cupcakes started out as a 4x6. The other photo was taken with a cell phone, so it's actually, I think, 4x5.33 or something. But they're all large photos. And now what I'm doing is I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to use the letter stickers to say cupcake in either mint, yellow, or pink. They all appear in that in the background paper, and I settled on the pink. I thought that the mint called too much attention to itself, and the yellow kind of did the same thing for me, that it was just too much attention. The other thing is I don't know, the yellow blended in too as well. So when I kind of looked at it. And what I did there is I just grabbed a couple of wood veneers, and those wood veneers, the Remember and Love This wood veneers, are from the Elle Studio Little Moments collection, the wood veneer pack there. So I've got the circle on the bottom and then the Remember on the top of the cupcakes there. And the cupcake photos actually are professional photos as well. So I'm just kind of trying to figure out what I want to do. I need to journal on this layout, and I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do that because there's not a lot of room up near the photos, which is the place that I probably normally would do that. And I've selected a card there that I'm thinking about maybe tucking it in. And I'm also playing now with the ephemera from, or the bits and their ephemera packs in Elle Studio are called Bits and Pieces. So the Elle Studio Little Moments Bits and Pieces to the Little Moments collection. So I did pull that tag that matches the paper as kind of something to think about basing some sort of embellishment cluster up there. But my problem with that is I have a little bit of a story that I want to tell, and I can't do it with that pattern paper tag. Plus it's exactly the same paper as the background paper. So I'm not totally in love with that. I pulled that heart there. And now I'm playing again. There's a gray tag in that Bits and Pieces pack, so I kind of looked at that. There's a blue heart tag, which is cute, and I like the fact that it's bringing in some of that teal from the background paper. But what I decided to do is, because I decided I'd already glued down the photo, I decided not that I couldn't have taken it off, because you can get ATG off, but I decided to take that journaling card, the polka dot white journaling card, and that's from Mambi, or Me and My Big Ideas, and it's a pack that I bought at Michael's a long time ago. I took one of the tags from the floral tag from the Bits and Pieces pack and just cut the white paper to that shape, because I knew that shape would work. And here's where I commit to letting the purple go all the way across the entire 12-inch span of the horizontal plane there for the layout. So I'm kind of liking that now, because I know that I can get the get my story on that tag. It's not a big story. You know, they bake the cupcakes, which, you know, they would have a much bigger story because it was a couple days of baking and decorating, and they put a lot of work into that. Now I wanted to bring out that teal again, as I said, so I found that die cut from the Bits and Pieces that says What Matters Most, and I really like that. But I'm going to struggle a bit because there's not a lot of that there, and I'm going to want to bring that out because right now it just looks sort of out of place. I did grab a little vellum die cut of just a little pinked circle, and I decided I'm going to ultimately decide not to use that. And now what I've done is I'm grabbing the die cuts from the Sienna, Elle Studio Sienna collection, that Bits and Pieces pack, to see what I can find, because I knew the colors were soft. Even though I cut that other tag, I did sort of entertain using that pink heart tag because I've got a pink heart up at the top left there. And I was thinking about maybe using that. And then I just decided, no, I really like the white. And then in that Bits and Pieces from Sienna, I found that little white circle with the pink kind of sketchy line on it. And I'm going to journal. These ladies made over 200 cupcakes. I don't remember the exact count anymore, but I think it was about 250 cupcakes in there. I think there were 4 or 5 different, actually I think there were five different flavors, and they were fantastic. Really, really good. My sister-in-law has made cupcakes before, and my niece to be there was going to school to be a pastry chef at the time. She didn't graduate until the following spring, but anyway. So what I did there is I took a little journaling spot that was square and I cut it in half because I wanted that aqua color at the top, and then I decided I could bring it down to the bottom there too, but I'm not really liking it. It's a little big and the flowers were distracting, so I went back to that little square heart piece that was from the Little Moments Little Snippets labels. So it's the cut apart sheet that's actually sitting underneath the die cuts on the left right now. So I looked at doing that, and I need something else there. I'm thinking I want some pink on the right side with that tag. So what I did is I grabbed my Martha Stewart punch, and I punched a heart out of this pink heart paper. And I'm going to struggle with this a bit because I'm not loving how that looks. It's too big, I think, but I think even more than that for me, I didn't like the little hearts all over the paper. If it had been solid, I think it would have been okay. So I'm going to try it with the smaller paper and see if that works for me. I also couldn't get it to kind of line up properly. But it's really what the paper is itself that's my problem. It's not so much the size of the heart. So now that I'm looking at this on screen, I'm really glad I didn't do that. So that's not working, but I have wood veneer in the other two clusters, so I'm thinking, well, I need to get some wood veneer in, so maybe I can put a wood veneer heart in that cluster there, and then put the pink heart at the top to get the pink in. And I'm going to play with a couple of different kinds of heart wood veneer. Again, playing with the pink heart. This cluster was a pain for me. It works out it all works out in the end, and I love it in the end, but it was not fun trying to figure it out as I was working on it. So I know I really like the cluster at the top left there, so I'm going to commit to that so that at least I have something down. That cluster and really the ones in the bottom right there are fine. I don't have any problems with what those are like. I like them, so. Or what they're like, the pieces that I decided to use. And I like the remember on that because I think that's an important memory. I am making an album for my nephew and his wife of their wedding photos. I'm actually just about done. I'm done with the photos I have now. They have to give me a couple more. They had a computer die and had to get the photos retrieved at one point, but they'll be bringing me those shortly. But this page is for my book of their wedding memories. And now I've got all the other kind of clusters done, and now I'm still playing with this one at the top right. Like I said, it all comes out okay in the end. So I'm toying with that little heart, and now I'm going back into my wood veneers again and looking for a wood veneer because I decide, yes, I do want to use a wood veneer there. And I'll tell you honestly, when I finished this layout, I still wasn't completely happy with the way that wood veneer lays on there. But in the end, I'm looking at it now and it looks fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I was just being really, really super fussy that day. And that happens sometimes. We do that sometimes. So now I decided I was going to bring the pink in by using twine in the tag because it very obviously has a tag hole. So that's how I'm going to get the pink into this cluster. And kind of once I do that, then things sort of fall together for me. That it just feels better and it makes more sense to me. So now I'm going to take my title off of my wax paper here and get it onto the layout itself. I love using wax paper. If you watch my videos at all, you know that because I use it very, very frequently. I love the freedom it gives you to move things around. I'm not good at getting a title just from the first get-go. And what I'm doing here, it looks like I'm putting Cupcake below Baker's, but I'm really just lining the word up. That's all I'm doing. It's going to go above. I just find whatever straight edge I have on my paper to get it lined up. And I want it centered on the word Baker, so I'm going to play with it a little bit. And it's a little light. It's definitely light on camera, and it's a little light on the layout itself, but the Baker's is the most important word there, and you can definitely see the Cupcake. So in the end, I'm okay with how that all turned out. And now I've got my trusty cutter bead tweezers there so that I can put my letters down and get them positioned properly. It really helps me see what I'm doing and helps me because I have such short fingernails. From being a massage therapist, I probably tell you that every time I tell you that I'm using my tweezers, but that's why. And I'm playing with just getting the were just aligned a little bit there, but I'm basically done. So now I grabbed my Chamel gray pen. I think I've said this before. I'm going to be very sad when this goes, and if you have a recommendation for a great pen, gray pen, let me know, because I do use it quite a bit on things like this that are light. The black would have just stood out way too much. So I'm just telling a little bit of a story about how my sister-in-law and my niece-to-be now made all of the cupcakes. Even though they're not professionals, or that one of them wasn't yet. And then just the date, and the over 200 cupcakes are going to go on that circle on the bottom, and I'm done. So you'll see the still and a couple of detail shots. Hope you're all well. Bye!